Thank you. Hello, my name is Chad Cunningham and I work at the Central Library. And today I'm here to talk about the library. I'm going to go over a little bit about the library system itself. I'm going to talk about how to get a library card. And then I am going to talk about some of the services that libraries have to offer. And then if you guys have any questions, we can also answer some questions. I love answering questions. I'm going to share my screen here. All right. So the Rochester Public Library, getting a library card, and so much more. That's what we're going to be talking about today. Oops. So the Rochester Public Library is the library that serves all of the city of Rochester. There's 11 branches throughout the city. The biggest one is the one that I work at. It's the Central Library. It's at 115 South Avenue. It's got 2 buildings and 7 floors. But there are libraries throughout the city, embedded in the community, so you're never too far from a library. The Rochester Public Library, like I said, it serves everybody in the city of Rochester. We're funded by the city of Rochester, and our services are tailored for people who live in the city of Rochester. The Rochester Public Library is part of the Monroe County Library System. So each town in Monroe County, in addition to the city, funds their own library. Altogether, there are 31 libraries in Monroe County. If you get a library card, you can use your library card at any of the libraries in the Monroe County Library System. You can go there. You can also have things sent from one library to another. So if you can't get to a library, you could put a hold on an item and have it sent to a library that's close to you. So we all work together. We share the same circulation system, the same card catalog, and we share our resources back and forth between libraries. So once you have a library card, the entire system is basically yours to peruse and borrow and have fun with. So I'm going to talk about a couple of ways that you can get a library card. There's 2 basic ways to get a library card. You can get a library card in person. You just have to go to any library in Monroe County to get a library card. You'll need to bring ID that shows your name and your local address on it. I gave a handout for you guys that actually lists the different forms of ID that you can bring to get a library card. But that's all you do. You go in, staff will help you out with that process. They'll sign you up for a card. Once you have a card, you keep that card forever. They'll expire once a year, but they usually update themselves as long as you've used it and you keep your fines down. You'll keep that same library card forever. You can also get cards for your kids. Children do need a parent to sign for them. You bring them in with your ID and you sign up for a library card. Teens are a different matter. That varies from library to library. That's something that's not consistent. But in the city libraries, in the city of Rochester, teens have to bring their own ID and something that has their address on it, and they sign up for a library card on their own. So once you have the library card, you can, like I said, you can use it at any library. You also can use it online. The other way of getting a library card is to get an e-card online. An e-card will let you borrow our digital items. So in addition to the stuff we circulate in libraries, we also have ebooks, and you can stream TV shows on some sites and, music, things like that. You can get all of that digitally through our website. So you can sign up for an e-card and that'll give you access to that stuff instantly. And that's just going to the Monroe County Library System website, libraryweb.org. and choose apply for a library card under the using the library tab. It'll ask you for some information and then it'll give you a card right away. If you then want to borrow physical items, you just have to come into the library and they're going to issue you a physical card to go over your e-card, but they'll walk you through that process. So those are the 2 basic ways to apply for a library card. Let's say you already had a library card at some point in the past. You can get a new card if you need to. There's usually a small fee for that. At some libraries, it's $1. Some libraries, it's 50 cents. But you can get a new card if you've lost your old card. Once you have a library card, you then can use the library. And I wanted to talk today a little bit about what you can do with the library, all the different things the library offers. The first thing people think of when they think of libraries are books. And yes, we circulate books. We circulate lots and lots of books. We love books. But we have all sorts of different types of books. We have, fiction, nonfiction. You can read James Patterson if you want, we've got all that. But we have other things as well. So let's say that you were, studying for an equivalency test. We have GED books. We have task books, that you can borrow to help you study. If you were studying for a civil service exam, we also have civil service materials that can help you study for an exam. If you're going to be getting your learner's permit, we have the driver manual. We have all sorts of different things in the library, different kinds of books. It's not just, a novel or, a book about the Amazon or something like that. There's other things we can get you. In addition, we have movies and music, lots and lots of movies and music. We've got DVDs, we've got, Blu-rays, we've got CDs, we've got books on CD, all sorts of stuff like that. One of the things I like to say is if you've got if you've got something like Netflix, you're going to get a certain amount of things. We've got the older stuff that Netflix doesn't have, but we also have the newer stuff. So there's a wide variety of things you can borrow there. And each library has their own collection and their different things. We also circulate toys and games. Every library at this point, I think, pretty much has video games that you can circulate for multiple devices. And a lot of libraries have toys, in their collections. And in fact, the Rochester Public Library has a toy library. It's attached to the Lincoln branch. It is currently closed for renovation. It won't be open until the spring, but you can actually go there and you can borrow some pretty cool stuff from the toy library. It's not just like, oh, here's a toy. It's like, here's a toy dining room set that's like life size. There's all sorts of cool things that they have there. And right now they're doing a renovation. So when they reopen, it's gonna be even cooler. And like I said, the libraries have toys and games in the library. They also have like fun science kits or weird science project things that they circulate. All sorts of different stuff and so much more. There's also a whole library of things out there that people don't realize. I put a picture of a telescope on this display. We actually circulate a telescope that you can borrow and you can go and look at the stars. We circulate sewing machines. We've got all sorts of different games for different levels of people. We circulate ukuleles. The Henrietta Library circulates air fryers. Whatever you can think of, there's probably a library that's circulating it. The Sully Library has fishing poles that you can check out. So always think of the library because you never know. One of the things that we have that people are super interested in right now and have been for the last several years, is we have MiFi devices, which are portable internet devices that you can check out for 3 weeks. And it's going to give you internet access in your house if you don't have it. So you can check those out for 3 weeks and you've got internet. Those are very, very popular and you usually have to wait a little bit for them. But, once you've got one, you've got some internet access right there. And we're always adding new things. Each library is trying to add new stuff. And if there's ever anything, you think a library should be circulating, you could just tell someone and they'll probably look into it and see. In addition to like the stuff you can check out, there's also a whole bunch of services that libraries provide that people are not always aware of. The first is we have computers with internet access that you can come in and use. The time varies from 45 minutes to like 2 hours, depending on the library, but you can just sit down and do stuff. Like you need to send some emails or you just want to watch some videos on YouTube or you need to apply for a job online. We have access to all of that, and we can give you access. You just come in and they'll set you up. At the Central Library, we have an entire tech center devoted for this, where they will set you up on the computer and they'll also assist you with a bunch of different things. They do a lot of work with people who are applying for jobs online who don't necessarily know how to apply for a job online because sometimes it's very confusing, but they'll help you out with that. They have a Google phone down there so you can make phone calls if you have to, all sorts of different stuff. We also offer copy and printing services. So if you need to print something out, we're a place you can come. There's usually a fee for that. At Central, it's 20 cents a page for black and white, 50 cents a page for color. But some things we will print out for free. like when it's tax season, we'll print out tax forms for free, things like that. So you never know. We also offer, libraries also offer faxing services. Sometimes you have to fax something to someone. That is free at all the city libraries. It may cost in the towns, but yeah, we will help you fax something. We also provide notary services. I am a notary, so if you needed to get a document notarized, you can come to the Central Library, and if I'm here, I will look at your ID and we will help you notarize something, and libraries don't charge for that. We never charge for notary services, so it's free notary stuff. In addition, we also offer the classic library thing, which is reference services. So like you have a question, you can call us and we will do our best to answer your question. If we cannot answer your question, we'll find somebody who can answer your question. We'll direct you to some place where you can get an answer to your question. But each library has reference librarians who have studied to do just that, to just answer questions. We also offer a variety of programs. Our programs are always free, and they can be anything from craft programs to book clubs, to information on the best time to plant certain things in your garden, to, just really anything. There's programs throughout. Every library does programming and every library does stuff a little differently. There's some things that are common to every library. Every library is going to have like a story hour for the kids. But otherwise, libraries, create their own programs, and it's really worth checking out to see what they have. We also offer meeting and study room spaces. If you needed someplace quiet to study, libraries often have study rooms that you can just sign up for a little time to just sit and work quietly. And we have meeting rooms if you needed to have a meeting, and there are many, many other things. One of the things I put on this picture is the CASH program. CASH is an organization that helps people do their taxes. And every tax season, the CASH people are on the 4th floor of Central helping people do their taxes. We offer all sorts of access to services like that. At Central, we're focused on a lot of things like the CASH services. We have legal aid that comes in once a week, and we have something called LROC, the Library Resource Outreach Center, that helps people with things like if you've got to find someplace to live fast, they're going to help you with that. If you need clothing or furniture, or things like that, they can help you find organizations or individuals who can help you out with that. So that's also another service we offer here. There are 2 main library websites that I'm going to talk about. The first is rockcitylibrary.org, and that is the library, that's the website for the City of Rochester libraries. It has information on all the City of Rochester libraries. It's got their locations, their hours, the different programs that are going to be available, any special services they have. You also can search the library catalog and find information about your account online. And you can see the databases and online services that are available just to City of Rochester residents, because there's some stuff that's only for City of Rochester residents. Libraryweb.org is the website for the entire county. And that's got all of the libraries in Monroe County listed in it. Again, you can search the catalog, you can find information about your account. You can see programs for all the libraries, and you can see databases and services that are available to all of Monroe County library residents. And that includes borrowing ebooks. We work with a company called Overdrive that has an app called Libby, where you can borrow digital items and read them on your device. Like you can read them on your phone if you want to. And we've been doing that for quite a while, and we got a pretty decent collection. So when it comes to libraries, one of the major things that we do is we answer questions. And it's any question you have, you can call the library. And like I said, if we can't answer it, we can direct you to a person, we can direct you to an agency or a website where you can find the answer. You can call us, you can come in, you can ask on the website, you can do all these things. We want to answer your questions. That's what we're all about. So that was my presentation in a nutshell. So what I want to know are there any questions I can answer for you, or is there anything else you want to see? Like I can show you any of the stuff I've talked about. Like I could show you how to log into your account online or anything like that. But what would you guys like to do? Because we got a lot of time. I talked really fast. I'm also drinking hot chocolate because I forgot my coffee this morning. Yeah.
Yeah, if you don't mind sitting here for a couple minutes, Chad, I think maybe some students are like accumulating questions. I can see some people around. Thanks.
Absolutely. Like I told you before, Olivia, I'm here till 4:30 today. I can sit forever. Yeah. I'm going to stop sharing that though.
Chad, hi, this is Martha, and one of the students in Gina's class just asked do you need anything like a pass to enter a library, to enter any of the libraries?
That is a very good question. And the answer to that is no. You can just walk into any library. Libraries are probably one of the very few government entities where all you have to do is walk through the door. We do not limit anybody coming in. You don't need a pass. You don't need to make an appointment. You can just come on in. We are here and ready for you. Let me take a look at that in the chat.
Chad, it's Martha again. Another question in Gina's class is, which library has the ukuleles?
The Central Library has the ukuleles. They're in our Arts and Literature division. And there's usually at least one in. But yeah, that's at the Central Library at 115 South Avenue. They have ukuleles. They also have, they also have music books for the ukuleles. And I think they've got some stuff on how learning to play the ukulele. Yeah.
We have a question.
Oh,
you wanted the ukulele. All right. Oh, sorry. False alarm.
Well, there was a question in the chat and said, since we are a workforce preparation program, I'm curious if the library is a good place to look for jobs. Are there entry-level jobs? So yes, the libraries hire through whatever town they're from or whatever municipality. This is absolutely a place to work to find entry-level jobs. Any library that is hiring in the city of Rochester, you would go to the cityofrochester.gov website and look at what's the job offerings that are on the website, and you apply through the website. But we do have several entry-level jobs here. For example, in my department, we have shelving pages who shelve books, and we hire those people periodically. And we have people who work at the circulation desk. You have to have a little bit of experience doing some computer stuff for some of the jobs, but for the most part, these are also good entry-level jobs. And you can look at, like I said, the cityofrochester.gov will show any library jobs that are open and also any other jobs that are open in the city. But the individual towns also hire too, so it's worth looking at their websites to see if they're hiring. But yeah, we love people to come work here. That's how I started. I got a job as a page when I was 16, and I've turned that into a whole career. I am not a librarian. I don't have a master's degree. I just work in a library. The library also is a great place to help you find a job, because all libraries offer services to help you find jobs, whether it's helping you apply for jobs online or study for civil service exams, or just basically anything. We can help you update your resume and print it out. So we're also a good resource when you're looking for a job if you need help with something. We love to do stuff like that.
Are there any other? Oh, sorry.
That's okay. Well, a question came up when you talked about notary services. What's a notary, Chad, and what kind of documents? You talked about documents needing to be notarized?
So what notary services are in the state of New York? A notary is somebody who will witness you signing a document and will then add language to that document to say that you proved who you were, that you are the person who's signing, and I verified your information. A lot of official documents will ask for things to be notarized. You know, it's a part of the process of applying for a lot of different things. So you bring in a document and you have to bring in ID. It has to be picture ID that shows you, and it has to be a government issued ID. And then I check that and I ask you to affirm that the document that you're signing is true, and then you sign the document in front. And that's what notary services is. It's basically just an outside person verifying that you are who you say you are when you're signing the document. And there's some, like I said, there's a lot of government documents that need to be notarized, but you might also want to have something else notarized. A common thing that people bring in is the kids are going to be traveling with their grandparents somewhere, and the parent wants to just write a letter saying, hey, my kids have permission to travel with my parents. And they sign that and they get it notarized, and that proves that they are the person who signed it. So that's what notaries are. And like I said, you'll see it on documents. It'll ask for a notary signature or a notary public, and we're a place where you can come and get that done. Legally, notaries can charge $2 per signature. We don't charge. Libraries don't charge. It's part of our service. So there's another question in the chat that said, does the library have books in other languages? Yes. Are they at specific branches? Sometimes. And they're specifically asking about the Ukrainian language. That's one I don't know off the top of my head, but let me see if I can find an answer for that. Let me look and see. Let me see. Trying to see if I have a search for that. That I don't know that. I don't know specifically about Ukrainian. I can look that information up and I can email it to Olivia and she can get it back to you. Because the search tool I have does not specifically break things down by language, but I'm sure there's a place where I can find that. As to what branches specifically would have that, the Central Library has a variety of things. We have a variety of things in other languages. If there is an area that has a significant number of people who speak that language, that library may have more titles in that language. I will look specifically for the Ukrainian and try to get that information back to Olivia today. But yes, libraries do have other stuff in other languages as well.
One last question just popped up. Do you have books, law books? Someone who's interested in studying law, and which branch would have law books if you do?
So yes, we do have law books. The Central Library has a rather large law collection, but individual libraries will have varying collections. So we will have actual law books if you want to study the law. We will actually have books also on how to prepare to study the law, books explaining laws. We have a lot of stuff like that. At Central, that stuff is on the fourth floor of the new building, I believe. Might be the third floor. But yeah, Central's a good place to start with that. The branches in the city probably aren't going to have as much. Some of the towns may have more, but Central's going to probably have the biggest collection of law books. We also have somebody who comes in on Fridays who provides legal aid, so you can also ask them questions. I'm sure they'll love that I said that.
Does anyone else have any other final questions?
We've got one in the chat. I'm sorry if you mentioned this. What is the age a child can get their own card? That's a great question, and I did not mention it. So one of the things you'll hear from me a lot is that varies from library to library. And the reason I say that is because each library can make its own rules. There's a lot of libraries where as soon as a child is born, they can get a library card. Some, some it's like 1 or 2 years old, but very young. There's a card called a child card that a lot of people get. Like here, we hand out child cards to children for up to age like 4 or 5. That's a more limited card. You can only check out 5 items, but it's actually, it looks way cooler than the other cards. So that's kind of fun. So like I said, the age varies. When I worked at the Gates Library, it was as soon as the kid was born, we could get the kid a library card. Here, I think it might be 1. But yes, children can get their own card. Yes, and they can. We do need parents to sign for anybody under the age of 12 to acknowledge that they're taking responsibility for the items. In the city, teens sign for their own. Yeah.
All right, well, this feels like
Wait, we have a quick question. I'm sorry.
No, you're
Just had to-
Hey.
Sorry. Can you tell me like how we could find, or you could just tell us, like Bob Rich Drive, like which library is close by to there?
What's the what's the street again?
It's Bob Rich Drive. It's like an apartment. There's a lot of apartments on that. It's kind of off of, I can't remember if it's Blossom or Browncroft. Blossom.
Okay. What's the name of it again? What drive?
It's BOBRICH.
Oh, okay. Let me look up and see.
Chad, it's Winton Road Library is right.
Yeah, I was
not-
gonna say it looks like Winton is the closest. Yeah. Yeah, that's what it looks like, is the Winton branch is the closest. Yeah. And that's
All
a
right,
cool
thank
library. Yeah. Yeah, that's a nifty library. Kathy Wolf's in charge of that library. She's a cool lady. Do we have any other questions?
Yeah, we have one.
Okay.
Go ahead, Eugenia.
Yeah, can you tell me the Winton Library, is it close to the ESL branch, the bank? Which,
I don't know. Let me look.
Still,
Let me look and see. So the Winton Library is actually right next to the Winfield Grill. Like they kind of share a parking lot. And the Summit Federal Credit Union is nearby. I'm not seeing the ESL. But it's on the corner of Winton and where Atlantic becomes Browncroft. Yeah. Awesome. So if you have any other questions that you didn't think of, Olivia has my email, or you can just call any of the libraries in the Monroe County Library System. I can tell you the number for the Central Library is 428-7300. But if you have any questions, you can just give the library a call, or you can let Olivia know and she can email me, and I'd be more than happy to find stuff for you.
Thank you so much, Chad, for coming and presenting, and thank you to everyone for asking great questions. I really appreciate it. Have a good rest of your day.
Thanks, everybody.
Bye.
Bye.